Hi guys, welcome to another edition of All Things Football. Today we specifically preview the big game coming up at the weekend. No, I'm not talking about El Clasico. I'm talking about the Premier League's big game, that being Manchester United versus Liverpool. I've got two guests with me who are first-timers on the show. Firstly, Nikita Koopman. She's a Liverpool fan. Welcome to the show.
Thanks very much, Wasim. Thanks for having me.
And then also I've got Ahmed Faraaz Parker, who's, as you can see, a Manchester United fan. So welcome to you as well, Ahmed.
Thanks for having me.
And then we've got a resident All Things Football correspondent who's been away for a bit, but he's back, especially for this game, especially after last night's win. He's eager to talk about Manchester United. So welcome back, Sahil.
Thanks, man. Nice to be back.
So yeah, if you are watching, please don't forget to click on that subscribe button on YouTube. That means a lot to us, and it will go a long way in terms of getting more content out there in the future. So let us get started. I'm going to start with Sahil. Ronaldo scoring the winner last night, 2-0 down. It seemed like everything is, pointing towards Ole out, and the fans were going to have their say. But then all of a sudden, second half, it was completely different. A very sharp and good performance in that second half that saw you win the game 3-2. Does that paper over the cracks, or is that actually a sign that things are turning around?
Well, I'd probably say it's papering over the cracks. To be blunt, I'm going to take Paul Scholes' view on this. Obviously, other ex-players most of them are siding with Ole, who seems to be a common theme, like ex-players sticking with him, mate. But Paul Scholes said it last night, it's papering over the cracks. And I don't know what the halftime team talk was, but it must have been something incredible. There's a joke going around where people are saying perhaps Fergie went into the changing rooms at halftime and gave them the blow dryer treatment himself. But incredible second half performance. I still think there's a lot to be concerned about after that first half that we had. And for me, what was vital was a telling factor was that the performance changed quite a bit after the substitutions. Okay, Rashford got that goal before the subs came on, but obviously the changes with Pogba coming on, Cavani, and then also Sancho being played on the right-hand side, which is his preferred position. I don't know what stroke of genius Ole managed to get last night, but he managed to play him where he belongs, and he actually did okay. Did quite well. He didn't see much of the ball, but when he did, he did quite well. And obviously, the man of the moment, Cristiano Ronaldo, coming to our rescue, you could say. Yeah, absolute world-class header. He makes it look so easy. But yeah, absolutely amazing goal to clinch it there.
If Sal mentioned the fact that Sancho came on and did quite well in his preferred position, and I looked at that starting lineup. It didn't, it had McFred in there, which is obviously not a lot of fans' preferred centre mid combination. But when he ended the game, he had Sancho on, he had Cavani on, and it seemed to be that perhaps that is a starting lineup that he should revert to, where what he ended the game with, he should perhaps start with against Liverpool. Do you agree with that, with guys like Sancho being given a start, or do you feel the starting lineup that he had yesterday was good enough to win? It's just that things didn't go according to plan. So what do you think with regards to Sancho and perhaps shifting things around, maybe having Cavani to support Ronaldo up front?
Look, I'm never ever going to be an advocate for McFred. I think individually they are good players, but they need a better player or a stronger player next to them to complement him in that midfield. So, say for example, Fred playing with Matic, or McTominay playing with Matic. Matic is a proper, solid defensive midfielder, and he can read the game quite well, and he allows the other players to have their freedom in the center of the park. So McFred as a combination, I'm never going to be on board with that. Whenever I see that in the starting lineup, I already expect the worst to happen. It's just a reflex for me. Sahil, I think you might probably understand. But yeah, like you, yeah, you spoke about Sancho. right wing is his preferred position. He just adds that extra bit of width to the pitch. Whereas Greenwood, his first his first thing to do would always be to try to get to the box. So that's already narrowing the pitch down. You need your wingers to want to stretch the pitch a bit wider. And Sancho holds up the ball better. He stretches the pitch wider. He's a proper winger, like one that we've been crying out for so long. And yeah, like you could see the impact that he made Cavani as well. Like a proper centre forward, a guy that he can play with his back to goal, and he gives the rest of the players the freedom to do what they need to do. Yeah, so I definitely think with the three of them in the starting lineup, Pogba included as well, it just makes our starting lineup so much stronger, and so much it gives us more incentive to as supporters to watch the game and feel good about the result.
Nikita, coming to Liverpool's result against Atletico Madrid, that was an amazing performance to win 3-2, where not many teams go there and score 3 goals, for example. So to actually go there and get the 3 points was impressive. But I just want to touch on the fact that Liverpool did concede 2 goals after being 2-0 up. Do you think that that's a slight concern, the way Griezmann, got that second goal? He basically like pulled away from Van Dijk, and Van Dijk couldn't get close to him before the shot got away already. So is that a concern that Liverpool showed a soft side to their defense, or do you credit Atletico for just, being such a superior attack that they managed to score? How are you feeling going into this big game at Old Trafford?
To be honest, neither. I think our defensive frailties on Tuesday night was more down to having, probably our worst or our weakest midfield selected 2 games in a row. One must remember James Milner at 36 playing 180 minutes within 3 days is probably a stretch. And for me, Jordan Henderson is pulling an Aubameyang year after getting a massive 4-year deal. His form this season has been putrid, and there's been a lot of talk within the Liverpool fan base about Naby Keita's performance on Tuesday night. But for me, it was Hendo who was, the honest weakest link. We looked a different side when Fabinho came on in the second half, and that shored up our defense. AF was talking about Matic being a proper defensive midfielder, and Fabinho is the same for us. So I've no real concerns. We know Van Dijk is not at his best, but I couldn't be happy or prouder to have someone like so unassuming like Joel Matip next to him. They make it look quite effortless at times. So for me, the defense is not a concern. It's getting that midfield trio selected appropriately this weekend. I think we'll definitely see Fabinho back in the starting 11. That's no doubt. We all know the form of Alisson. I think people would be talking about it a lot more if Mendy wasn't, pulling crazy things. The only thing he hasn't done is a scorpion kick off the goal line this season. The guy's insane. So defensively is not a concern. I think getting Fab back in midfield, probably Hendo with him, unfortunately, and a more dynamic Curtis Jones, perhaps. Unfortunately, Thiago's just not fit yet. And I think we'll give it a proper go. I think it's going to be a tough fixture, and I've said it before. I know lots of people have said it. Form is completely irrelevant here. Yes, I would have loved for Atalanta, who's a tough team, to come and visit. We had them in the group stages last season. It was a tough win, and it was a great win for United, and I'm sure their tails are up, but so are ours, and I think we are in a fantastic form, but then again, the ability of United just to raise that level against us is uncanny. So I think it's going to be very, very tight. I don't think there's going to be a lot of goals in it, and I don't know why people use this term, but the points are going to be shared, I reckon, come kind of 8 o'clock on Sunday night.
I think you touched on form going out. A lot of people say form goes out the window, despite Liverpool having good form this season. But one player in particular is in the form of his life, and a lot of people are saying he's the best player in the world currently. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you all a chance to speak about this topic. But is Mo Salah currently the best player in the world? In my view, he's been scoring consistently for 3 or 4 years. and he's been outstanding for Liverpool. I think he has taken his form to another level this season, which we've not seen before, which I think is why people are now saying he's the best in the world. But yeah, I think he's going to have a big say. If Man United can keep him quiet on Sunday, they'll go a long way towards getting perhaps that point that you talk about. But if not, then yeah, Liverpool are going to walk away with it. But I want to give you guys a chance. Yeah, going around the table, who feels most of that is the best player in the world, or do you think that still belongs to Lewandowski, Messi, Ronaldo, and co?
Let me have a crack at it. So I honestly think like it's a toss-up, like between obviously the way this Ballon d'Or best player in the world title is decided is obviously between club football, international football, and then what the respective teams that the player plays for, what they've achieved. On an individual level, Salah's brilliant. Obviously, this is referring to club level. Messi fans will obviously say, you know what, Messi's won the international trophy. Lewandowski fans will say, you know, he's scoring left, right, and centre for Bayern. But I think Salah's in with a shout. I think he'll definitely be there amongst the shortlist when it comes down to the top three. But yeah, I don't know what's going to happen to the Italians, because we have players like Jorginho, who's won it on club level and international level, but he's so unassuming and he's not really, you know, like a bright spark within either of those teams. I don't think he's the star player in either of those teams, Italy or Chelsea. So yeah, I think Salah will be in with a shout. I think it'd be top three. I don't think he'll win it though.
I don't know. I think he wins Ballon d'Or this season. I think he finally wins. I mean, Modric did it. Modric knocked both Messi and Ronaldo off their perch. So
yeah, but Modric made it far with Croatia. You must remember he made it to the final of the World Cup.
He made it.
What does Salah have on an international level?
The trophy though.
Yeah, I know, but you know, he was quite prominent in the Croatia side. I think he won Player of the Tournament, if I'm not mistaken, at the World Cup as well. So
yeah,
I don't know. For Salah, it's actually quite unfair. One would say that Salah's playing for you know, a team that's not big on the international stage, you know, with Egypt.
Yeah.
But yeah, other players other players have won it before. That aren't really on.
But Ballon d'Or aside, just like my opinion with regards to Salah currently being the best player in the world, and he has this aura about him, the same aura that both Messi and Ronaldo had, where if defenders are going to come up against you on the day, those defenders are going to be scared. They're going to be frightened. They know what to expect. And it's not every good or great player that has that type of aura. And Salah knows that he has it right now. I mean, against Watford, he took 5 players out of the game immediately and he scored like a crazy goal. So, I mean, like, yeah, he's brilliant. He's world class at the moment. And I don't know, you just have to applaud him. Like, as a United fan, like, I can't say anything else.
Nikita?
And that's sweet coming from you, because you're not a massive, you know, kind of Salah fan, to be fair. So thanks, I appreciate that. I think he's fantastic. I definitely think he's equaling his form of his first season with Liverpool. He's probably, I mean, the numbers itself are insane. I think it's like 12 goals in 10, and I don't even know how many assists, because that left foot just does things this season that, I mean, he's helping Mane score, and that guy couldn't, you know, flipping, I don't want to make a rude joke, but he couldn't score for anything. So yeah, I think he's really good. I think, you know, what Sahil was mentioning in terms of there's just inherent bias, unfortunately, I think, towards A, the Premier League, and B, the fact that he's not from the European continent. I mean, you're not going to have millions and millions and millions of fans watching AFCON, you know, in Jan. Whereas, I mean, I don't know what the viewership was for the Euros, but I mean, yeah, they were raking it in. There's obviously a high, I personally think a very high, like, kind of bias towards La Liga, just because they were so domineering in Europe over, I would say, the last decade. I speak under correction, but I don't think the African player has ever even won the Ballon d'Or. I speak under correction. I don't think they have. And I think the last English football club player to win it was probably Michael Owen. which in itself says a lot, because he probably, like, if there was any decent competition, he probably wouldn't have won it. But I think he's got, I have hit it right on the head, man. He's got this dynamism. Even against Atletico on Tuesday night, I was like, these defenders are backing off him. But they saw on the weekend, and even against City, if you try and go man for man, he just eats you, you know, whether it's left foot, right foot, down the line, into the box. The guy is exceptional talent, and, you know, I really count my lucky stars that Liverpool has been so lucky in getting phenomenal forwards in my lifetime. I mean, I ogle and still blush at Fernando Torres, because that relationship he had with Steven Gerrard was something of beauty. Seeing Robbie Fowler in action, Luis Suarez in his prime is about a decade long, so I don't know, you know, in the early part of his prime, and now Salah. We are very blessed as Liverpool supporters. So yeah, very happy for Mo and his form. Long may it continue. Long may it continue until January. And then I hope Egypt get knocked out in the group stages so you can come back.
Let us, last points. Basically, I'm going to go around. Where's the game going to be won and lost on Sunday? And perhaps at the end of it, give a prediction as well. I'm going to give mine. I'm going to start off. I feel that, as you guys said, that these are going to be close matches because, you know, form goes out the window, the rivalry is so fierce and everything. But I do feel that Liverpool are going to edge it. I think they're going to just have that superior quality where it counts. So I'm going to go with Liverpool, maybe a 2-1 to Liverpool. But let's go around the table and let's see what are your points, where it's going to be won and lost, and your prediction.
Yeah, I'll probably say it's going to be a won and lost in midfield. And our midfield is a big cause for concern. In fact, even against the first half against Atlanta, there was, the two players of McFred, the combination that AF doesn't like, but whoever those two players are, you just feel sorry because there's a massive gap between the front line and our midfield. And if Ole has any hope of getting something out of that game, he'd definitely want to have the forwards come a bit deeper or just stick a bit closer to that middle two. But as far as the prediction goes, I'd probably say the best we'll get out of this is a score draw, probably like a 1-1 or 2-2.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with a 2-1 to Liverpool as well. I would love nothing more than to win Liverpool over the weekend, to come away with a win. But I don't know, like decent performances like have spoiled my optimism. But I agree. I think the game will be won and lost in midfield. As we saw with Leicester, Tielemans was having a field day, just passing whenever he wants, wherever he wants. And if the same thing happens, Klopp and his team must have watched that video a million times over already, and basically identified all the weaknesses. Seeing that Maguire is rusty as well, the game last night, that didn't fill me with confidence either. He came away with a goal, but I mean, he still had some rusty moments, and somebody like Salah will take advantage of that. But yeah, I think Liverpool 2-1.
I think this match is probably neck for neck, pretty solid. I think defensively in the midfield, the equally is weak, and other than, I think Fabinho is probably the best midfielder out of the six. And then, pound for pound up front. So I think it's probably going to come down to some individual brilliance and of course the brilliance of Anthony Taylor. So we'll see. I think he's got a lot to prove. He's had some fantastic performances, come out of the Euros, how he managed that Denmark situation. He's had really, really good performances. I think he's been one of the better referees this season. And then this is a big one for him. I'm really shocked Michael Oliver didn't get it. But yeah, he's got to really pull up his socks and perform. I think the game can get nasty pretty quickly, and I think there's guys on both sides who can just use this as like a proper grudge match. But yeah, I hope he lets the game flow. I hope the players come through in the right mindset, because I think we can have a really fantastic 97 minutes of football. you guys are going to get 7 minutes. You're going to get Fergie time at Old Trafford, man.
You,
Come on.
you're lucky Howard Webb. You're lucky Howard Webb is not still around.
Howard Webb, we would have just forfeited and given you a 3-0 win. But now I'm amped for this weekend. Sunday can't come quick enough. I'm excited. I'm excited for the banter. I'm excited for the chirping. I'm excited for Twitter. But I'm also excited. I'm also trepidatious because, you know, United have so many oaks up front, especially, you know, around CR7 who can ruin my whole week next week. So yeah, I'm still gunning for 1-1 draw, I reckon.
So there you have it. We've all had our say. I think what I just can't wait for Sunday. As a sports fan in general, because there's Classico, there's this match, and then there's also India-Pakistan in the World Cup and the T20. So there's so much stuff to look forward to this weekend. And whatever you do, like, you know, enjoy the games. I think these with the crowds away a few years ago or last year, you know, sport lost a lot of its, you know, what makes it special. And I think this game, because the crowd's going to be back capacity, I think it's going to be extra special. So enjoy the game, guys. I hope that whoever wins, it's going to be a good game and it's not going to be anything controversial. But yeah, until next time, we will have hopefully a review of the game. But until next time, please don't forget to subscribe and we'll see you again. Thank you.